Hey guys, welcome to this video. I'm Alex from Deep Cycle Power, and in this video I want to talk about the new update for the Megacell charger. I'm holding in my hands the board of the new Megacell charger. It's the professional version. There are a few changes that will transform the old Megacell charger from a good testing device to the best testing device on the market. And let me tell you why I'm saying that. The first thing that we changed was the charging IC. In the old version we used an IC called TP4056 that allowed charging with 1 amp per cell, which was a decent charging rate. But we changed that with a specialized IC BQ24195, which allows you to set from 100 milliamps up to 2.5 amps per cell, which will allow you to test any kind of lithium cell. So lithium iron, lithium polymer, lithium ion, anything you want. You have a voltage range from 3.5 to 4.4 volts. That's LiPo, and it's more than enough to allow you to test your cells properly. The new IC will allow you to use a charging curve, so you have constant current, then at the end you have constant voltage to top up your cell to make sure it's fully charged before you start the discharging process. The next thing that we changed was adding additional 1.5 amps to the discharge rate. So you have now 2.5 to 3 amps depending on the voltage that you're discharging your cell from, but you have up to 3 amps discharge rate compared with 1 amp that we had before. So that's a great additional thing that will help you test a large variety of cells. So combine that with the new update on the Megacell monitor, which allows you to combine slots together to charge or discharge with more power. Now if you combine all 16 slots, you can charge and discharge with up to 40 amps. That's a very large cell that you can test there. Or you can combine just 8 slots and test with up to 20 amps, or set a variable charging and discharging rate, and you can discharge with whatever number you want. So that will give you a huge advantage when testing your cells and making sure that you test them to the specs on the datasheet or to the specs that you want to build your bank for. So that's also important because you want to see at what temperature your cell will get if you discharge them with 10 amps and what kind of capacity you can get from those. Because if you get 3000 milliamps at 0.5 amps discharging, and then you get 1000 milliamps when you apply 3 or 4 amps for discharge, that might not be the best for the pack you're trying to build. So that's why it's important to know what kind of cells you have, how to test them properly for the specification you want to build a pack for. Right, so let me show you quickly how you can set a virtual charger. By the way, this will work for the older Megacell charger as well. This feature is not implemented just in the new version. It will work on the old version of the Megacell charger as well. So let's jump into the Megacell monitor and do that. So let's add first the device. We have the device right here. And going to virtual charger, I will add a new device with 8 slots. Okay, selecting it, then selecting the cell allows you to specify which cells you want to combine for that slot. Keep in mind that you can actually combine all cells together if you want to, or you can combine 8. On the new version you will have 20 amps on 8 slots for charging power and discharge about the same power depending on the cell voltage. But yeah, so this linked all the cells together, and now I can go in grid mode to see the cells better. Okay, so after you created the virtual charger, you can use the accessories that will go with the XS10 or XS12 connection. The XS12 will be available for the newer Megacell charger that will have external temperature sensors as well. So you connect the positive of the cell to both slots that you combine in the virtual charger. Make sure you don't short circuit the cell somehow, making a wrong connection, because that can damage your cables or even the Megacell charger. All right. So on the Megacell charger, it will show the cells as usual, but when you go into your Megacell monitor application and you hit the discharge, both LEDs will light for charging and also discharging, and both capacities will be combined to give you one capacity for that cell you're testing. And if I go select the cell, and first let's do a charge really quick. You see I'm charging with 3.3 amps, and I'll show you my setup right here. So you see I just connected the wires from two cells, from the first two cells to the 50 amp cell. You can see the new ICs are pumping power into the cell. And if I do a discharge, it's now discharging with 4 amps. I took some footage to check for the temperature we're getting at discharging, and everything it's cool. The heat sinks are handling the discharging properly. I think it will actually handle up to 4 amps per cell without any issues. I saw the MOSFET on the back getting to 60 degrees, but that's nothing. It can get easily to 80, 90 degrees without any damage to the MOSFET or to the board. Alright, so the next thing that we added was a 4-layer PCB instead of 2 layers. This allowed us to make the traces for voltage and current measurement directly on the inside layers and also match the length, so we now got a 4-digit precision instead of 2-digit that we have on the old charger. This transforms the Megacell charger from a tool to a professional tool and reliable, that's bench tested, and is compared with a professional voltmeter and current meter to make sure it matches the readings we have with our own device. So having 4 layers instead of 2 allowed us to improve the design and improve the connections, including making less vias, so less holes in the PCB with traces that go from one layer to another. That can create some issues with the signals that are transmitted when communicating with the IC and reading temperature, etc. So the next feature that we added, because this is a major change, it's not just a small update, this is a redesign, and that allowed us to fit in a few more extra features that clients asked us about during the years we provided the Megacell charger. So another thing that we'll be adding, it's a small switch at the bottom which should be accessible from the outside. It will be right next to the USB port. With that switch you'll be able to change the temperature sensors from the onboard sensors to the accessory temperature sensor. So there will be accessories for the slots that we provide, and that will have its own temperature sensor, making it safer to test your cells, or you can place one right on a big cell like this. So make sure that that cell doesn't get too hot when you're testing it, charging or discharging it. And with that extra switch that we added here, we'll be able to also control the voltage reading. So we changed it from the onboard voltage reading to external voltage reading using 4 wires. Yeah, that's right, we are going to use 4 wires for external voltage reading, because if it's okay on the board to measure right next to the connector, when you're using extension wires, the voltage will drop when you charge or discharge the cell. So if you're charging, you are actually reading 3.5 volts on the board, but at the cell you'll have 3.3 volts, for example, and that's the same thing for the discharging. You are discharging and you read a different voltage on the board versus what's on the cell. So using 4 wires, it will allow you to see exactly in the Megacell monitor the voltage that you have on the cell. Voltage will not drop on the reading wires, and that, like I said before, it will transform the Megacell charger in a professional bench tool that you can use to reliably test your cells, like lithium ion, lithium iron, and lithium polymer cells, and also a few other chemistries that are in the same voltage range, 3.5 to 4.4. I think you're going to fit them all. And the last thing we're adding on the board is the ability to set from 5 to 17 volts the input of this charger. That will solve the issue of providing enough power to this board by using the 12 volts and 40 or 80 amp power supply, or you can also go higher and provide voltage from a 200 amps power supply to multiple chargers. That will make it cheaper to power on this board, and also you can switch it. You can even use it with your car if you're going to test or charge your cells for different accessories during camping. You can use it to charge your cells for flashlight or whatever accessory you might be using that's using lithium cells. So that's about the changes that we added to the board. We now got a prototype that's working. I programmed it, I changed the firmware, I was able to program these ICs to set different voltage and amperage for charging, and I also tested the discharging to make sure that the board and the resistors will handle the temperature, and it was fine. You can check the footage I got with my thermal camera. Everything stays below 70 degrees Celsius, which is great. It's not even topping up the power that this board can handle. I think it can easily go to 4 amp charge and discharge. We are not sure if we should provide this amount of power, but if you think you're going to use that, we might consider it to go higher with the charging voltage, because we can go with a similar IC. It's the same type of IC, same pinout, that goes to 4.5 volts instead of 2.5 volts. But personally, I think 2.5 it's enough for most of the testing, and if you need more power, you can combine the slots together, then you can get the extra power. The reason I'm reluctant to put 4.5 amps on this for charging is that if you're setting it wrong, you can put fire to that cell very quick. And one thing I forgot to mention is that the new IC, the BQ24195, has its own temperature sensor. So I placed it right next to the temperature sensor we're reading in the Megacell monitor and the device itself. So this one gets connected directly to the charging IC, monitoring the temperature all the time, and in case the temperature goes higher than 40 degrees Celsius, that's the temperature set by default, charging will stop. We might change that to 45 or 50 degrees. It will be a setting from the software, but the important part is that even if the software, when the ESP doesn't read this temperature sensor properly, there goes the backup that will stop the charging immediately from the charging IC. That increases the safety of using the Megacell charger, making sure that you're not setting fire to the cells by any means, like the ESP got corrupted or something like that, and for some reason charging goes on and temperature, and you have a bad cell, temperature may rise and it will stop charging immediately, putting this IC into a fault mode. You'll see that you have an LED that's blinking if the board is too hot or the cell got the board too hot. It's blinking, saying, okay, I'm in an error, I'm not going to let current flow through the IC. So that's a nice, small but powerful additional thing that we added to the board. That's about it, guys. I now have a pre-order active on deepcyclepower.com. You can get this device with 197 euros for a limited time. This is just the pre-order, and we made sure that there will be no more delays, no issues with getting the components that we need to manufacture this board, because now China started to get back to the usual business, and we have access to all the components that we need to build the Megacell charger at a reasonable price. So you can get that by going to deepcyclepower.com, find the pre-order link, it's on the main page, place your order, and then you're going to benefit by using a new Megacell charger. This doesn't get like this, you'll see it in the photo. Comes with a professional plastic case, the connectors that you see on the board there, and we are going also to put XS12 connectors that will allow you to connect external accessories to it. So this price is available just for this pre-order. We are going to sell this version with 300 euros after we deliver these pre-orders, so you're going to save 100 euros on this device, and trust me, it's worth it. Even if you're thinking that Litokala or Opus chargers might provide you with the same results, you're wrong. If you're testing just 4 or a couple of cells, that's fine, you can use those. But if you're serious about getting in this business, building your own batteries or building batteries to sell to others, you're going to need a professional tool like the Megacell charger, or you can have it from other suppliers, but you're going to pay more than 1,000 euros to get the similar results that we're getting with Megacell charger, and those don't even have the ability to print labels, to have a database that you can search your cells in, to test the cells for voltage after a few weeks to make sure they didn't discharge too far. So you're going to get a lot of benefits by using the Megacell charger. We spent more than 4 years building this device, and now it's at its professional stage. Before it was just a tool that you could have on your bench, but now I can claim that this is professional. It has 4-digit precision when reading voltage and current, and I'm sure you're going to be satisfied with it. We're going to get into the software, make a few tweaks as well to make sure it matches all the types of users that we have out there, because there are some small glitches that will depend from one machine to another, how your Windows is set up. But we're testing now and providing feedback to Martin, that's our software developer. He's going to make this perfect and make it run smoothly. We have it with one client, it's running 80 Megacell chargers for one computer, so that's a lot of cell capacity if you think. I'm going to show you some photos there as well. He allowed me to show the photos of his setup, but I cannot provide its name, but that's fine because you should be interested in just what capacity that Megacell charger and Megacell monitor can handle. It's more than enough for most of the users that we have. Okay, so before I go to the deepcyclepower.com website, place your pre-order. If you have any questions, get in touch with me, write me on email, WhatsApp, Skype, whatever you want and you prefer to get in touch with. You can also use the live chat application that we have on the website. You can contact me there, ask me any question you want related to cell testing, lithium cells. If you have any features that you want to add to the board, we can also make a customized version of this. If you're a big client and you want something that's not already provided by this board, we can make it without any issues. Thank you very much to everyone that supported this project so far. And if you're in need in a testing device and you waited for so long, didn't got the first version, then it's fine. You can get the professional version now, and then you can test your cells properly and make sure that you're not building packs. I actually built a 5 kilowatt pack that runs perfectly. It's at 0.05 or something like that, the discrepancy between cells. So the BMS doesn't work too much on balancing those cells because they were built properly, measured properly, tested. And when I mashed the cells, I got it as close as possible to every cell. So now it charges fully, discharges fully without any issues. So that's why you need a great tool to test the cells. Makes your process faster. You don't spend time writing by hand the numbers on your cells, and you scan them with a QR code scanner or even use a webcam to do that. That's all about the changes that there are about the professional version of Megacell Charger. There are a few tweaks that I might be doing to this board to make it even better, but I will discuss that in a later video. And happy charging and discharging using the Megacell Charger, the professional Megacell Charger. So that's also important because you want to see how to pop. This is not for, I think you're going to feed them all. Okay. We now got and it's more than enough for more. Yeah, again, go to the Megacell chart, and when I matched the cells, I got